Good morning, Professor. I am Soda Tangpan. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to present on titles in research articles by Ken Highland and Hang Zhu from the Journal of English for Academic Purposes, Volume 56, March 2022. First one, Introduction. Let's take a look at the background research. The importance of titles. Titles are essential components of academic text, playing a crucial role in research papers, theses, and presentations by attracting readers and enhancing visibility. As Bachelor of Service, your title is the highway billboard of your articles. In the age of article-based publishing, titles have gained even more significance as more readers now file papers through online researches more than by browsing journal contents. In 2016, titles are a central element of research visibility, as readers typically find papers through keyword-generated online search results rather than by scanning the contents tables of their favorite journals. A good title can contribute to the reputation and professional advancement of its writer. The Mega Open Access Science Publisher (PLOS) reinforces the idea. Once readers find your article, they'll use the title as the first filter to decide whether your research is what they're looking for. A strong and specific title is the first step towards citations, inclusions in meta-analysis, and influencing your field. Now let's move on to the next slide. The purpose of this research is to explore common patterns in titles from leading human and physical sciences journals to identify what academics consider as strong and specific in successful published article titles. This research focuses on 55 papers from each of 15 highly ranked journals in 6 fields, a total of 5,070 titles, to answer the following questions. 1. What are the typical formal patterns of titles in published articles? 2. Are there disciplinary differences in the structure and length of these titles? 3. Are there disciplinary differences in the focus of these titles? 4. How might we explain these differences? Now let's focus on the second part of the research, titles in research writing. The importance of titles on the internet searching. Today, academics are more likely to search on Google Scholar, rely on email alerts from key journals. Payne, 2016, used a tool is termed PubCrawler to automatically search databases such as PubMed with key terms and receive weekly emails about relevant papers. All these methods, however, rely on the information writers provide in their titles. According to guidelines for enhanced internet searches, it's unclear how closely writers actually follow those guidelines. For example, Gassel and Days advise against using compound titles as they can be pedantic and confusing for indexing, and this recommendation seems largely ignored in the sciences as the use of compound titles has increased in recent years. Advice for others on how to write enticing titles. Most sources recommend that writers should keep their titles short. Otherwise, in irony, jargon, and humor, aim to make them clear, informative, and specific. There are some advice for learners on how to write enticing titles. Hudson 2016 explored how multiple authorship impacts the titles of papers submitted to the UK's 2014 Research Evaluation Framework (REF), analyzing 155,500 articles across 36 disciplines. 1. The length of the titles increased with the number of authors in almost all disciplines. 2. The use of colons and question marks tended to decline with increasing author numbers in most fields. Citations to papers were higher when the titles were shorter and contained colons. 4. Citations were lower when they contained question marks. Next is about corpus and method. The researchers aim for the large and diverse corpus to ensure comprehensive presentation, so they selected 6 disciplines for the sciences, social sciences, and humanities, using categories recognized by SCL-Margot as follows: applied linguistics, education, history, mathematics, mechanical engineering, and biochemistry. From each discipline, they selected 13 journals based on the highest rate on the SCL-Margot Journals rankings. Here are examples for applied linguistics and education. Next, from history and mathematics, and from mechanical engineering and biochemistry. Next, they use stratified random sampling to identify the titles of 65 original full research articles that were published over the last 8 years, and they focus on only full research articles for better comparability. Here is Table 1. It is about a corpus of 5,070 article titles. They analyze the corpus both manually and automatically by using Ancon, a freeware corpus analysis toolkit to understand the titles and identify a non-alphanumeric character such as colons, question mark, or a word that indicates the content. They aim to develop a clear coding structure to distinguish between indicative and interrogative titles based on syntax and punctuation. 2 authors quoted a 30% sample of the corpus, achieving an inter-rater agreement of 96% through discussion. In intra-reliability tests show full agreement when one author recorded 20% of the titles 2 weeks later. So all titles were subsequently categorized according to the model. They focus on formal features to distinguish title preferences across disciplines and identify characteristics of research literature and style guides, while some others, like Batchelor, advise against using broad or ambiguous titles. They acknowledge the limitations in their judgments. They said that without clear criteria, these categories became problematic for analysis in a large corpus, and to analyze these, they use MATLAB, a programming for analyzing data and creating models to calculate the length of titles. Next, how long is a title? These researchers sorted all 5,070 titles into 4 groups based on how long they were. The results shown in Table 2 reveal differences in title length between subjects. Surprisingly, longer titles were more common in the social sciences, which are more discussion-based compared to STEM fields. This is different from what Nagano 2015 found, as she only looked at articles from 4 highly respected journals in each field, so her results may have been influenced by specific journals' practices. Similarly, Solar 2007 noticed longer titles in 3 hard sciences, but her study was smaller and only looked at articles from 1996 to 2002, not considering changes over the last 20 years. It's clear that applied linguists, educators, and historians usually prefer titles that are longer than 12.5 words, while mathematicians, biochemists, and engineers tend to have much shorter titles. No matter the reason, it is clear that some fields are more open to or require longer titles. This gives authors a chance to describe their work more clearly. Presenting research title structure. Literature offers a various title structures. For example, Jamal and Nixat 2011 identified 3 types: declarative, descriptive, and interrogative. Or Solar 2007 gives a detail of 4 types: monomer group, full sentence, and compound and questions. Limitation of correct models. 1. Confusion between from and content. 2. Lack of connection between title types. 3. Overemphasis on rare title types. Creation for a new model. 5,070 titles were categorized using a tree diagram based on form and content and classified as indicative or interrogative form. There were 10 identified as single or compound sentences, and compound can be divided into descriptive and detailed types. In academic writing, there are 2 main types of titles: indicative and interrogative. Indicative titles state the topic directly, while interrogative titles are phrased and ask questions. About 91.5% of academic papers use indicative titles. In STEM fields like math and engineering, indicative titles are predominantly used, with math having 99.8% of titles being indicative. Indicative titles clearly present the paper's topic, helping readers find research easily and avoiding confusion. Interrogative titles are rare in scientific fields, though becoming more common in soft sciences. They tend to attract online attention but are their site less often. These titles engage readers by sparkling curiosity and highlighting important issues, provoking interest in the topic. Others selected each form. They had 2 formats to choose: single, the article with 1 sentence, Compound the article with 2 or more parts separate by punctuation. Titles 4 and 5 show that single forms make up 55% of the total titles, and it shows that hard sciences favor single form, while soft sciences tend to favor compound formals. Single formal offer straightforward presentations at the following example. The transparency makes them effective for capturing attention. In contrast, compound formats allow more detail and can provide richer context. It is often used in soft knowledge disciplines. Table 4 shows 82% of history titles are compound, while only 5% in math. Here are some examples of compound format. Next, the last part in title creation shows the compound content between descriptive and indicative only subject and detail form that indicate main findings. This part allows others to present the subject in various combinations. As you can see in the table 6, that over 75% of 5,070 titles were descriptive. Descriptive titles both clarify the topic and engage reader by presenting compelling topics or questions, as the following example. Descriptive titles both clarify the topic and engage readers by presenting compelling topics or questions, as following examples. Detailed titles are more informative, often outlining both the topic and methodology used in the study, and it helps readers quickly grasp the focus and approach of the research, and it also makes the title more attractive. These are examples of detailed type. Last part, conclusion. There are some advice provided by style guides and journal requirements. For example, Cordial and Corner provide as much relevant information as possible, but be concise. Bachelor have an argumentative title. Hartley make the titles stand out in some way, but also tell the reader what the paper is about. But here are some actual examples of academic title. Titles in discursive soft fields are generally longer. Titles contain more interrogative and compound forms. Aside from history, they are more likely to mention the approach or findings. Unfortunately, much of the advice, while well-intentioned and sensible, often seems vague or contradictory. Application for pedagogical purposes. Titles are actually generated from a limited set of options, reflecting how others perceive their fields. Conceptual frames. Titles are shaped by the conceptual frameworks of their disciplines, reflecting how members understand what is effective and familiar to colleagues. Researchers suggest that teaching novice researchers should focus on the specific disciplines and target journals for publication. Like many aspects of academic writing, there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. In the classroom, teachers guide novice researchers should focus on both specific discipline and journals that students aim to target. Encourage students to reflect on the purpose of titles to evaluate their effectiveness. Alternatively, encourage them to edit the draft titles to enhance their impact. The researchers hope that their exploration of titles will be beneficial to teachers and inspires researchers to delve deeper into this area. In swells, memorable words, title consists of only a few words, but they are serious stuff. That's all for today. Thank you for listening so attentively to my presentation.